Hey, so watch how this wheelchair goes over this curb.
Okay.
I'm in one mode where it climbs up. It can climb up a curb when there's no ramp.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
It's great. It goes down sand. It goes on the.
Oh, that's
like,
nice.
Now that's cool, but watch this part. So I'm gonna lean back.
Oh boy.
That's cool, but wait a minute. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay. Watch this.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That's amazing.
Isn't it?
That's amazing. And this will go up steps too, right?
This will go upstairs, yeah.
Oh my God.
It floats like this, and I can
Look,
talk.
it's balanced like a Segway.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
The Segway came out of this. This was the first thing,
really.
and then they transitioned it into a recreational vehicle
Uh-huh.
as the Segway. But it's weird because nobody knows about this because
I've never seen that. I saw one similar to that. But
and isn't it wild that like it could be out? This has been out for 20 years.
has it really? I can't imagine it doesn't tip over.
I know it's got
That
it's
is
got those
amazing.
gyroscopes inside
Yes.
that keep it from tipping over.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you did some vehicle design yourself here in Echo Park when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about that. This is Sports Washing LA. I'm here with Jerry Robinson, who grew up in Echo Park in this house starting in 1940.
Correct.
Wow. So
Yeah.
the neighborhood looked different, and I'm sure it was a fun place to grow up.
It was. I enjoyed it. It was the best time. I think it was the best times of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, we had the whole neighborhood to ourselves. We
Yeah.
had the leisure park to play in. We had the police academy to play in. We had the river down here off of Riverside Drive, the LA River to play in.
So
We'd catch
would you
frogs.
actually go in the river?
Oh yeah, we could climb right down into the river.
You would go into the water?
Yeah, back then it was only about that deep. We'd get on and catch frogs and
Yeah.
whatever, and then we'd come across Riverside Drive, and
People don't
there wasn't that much
realize
traffic.
that Frogtown is called that because there were frogs.
Is that right? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, well, that's what they
Yeah.
call that part of. I guess it's called. I don't know what the name of the neighborhood is, but that neighborhood must have been pretty different back then too.
Oh, it was a lot. Yeah, there was some residential and commercial project buildings down in there.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
But let's start. We already took a tour, but let's start with how you, as a kid, wandered and took different kinds of transportation modes to get to different places, including, I imagine, the red car.
correct.
So the red car used to come up Echo Park Ave.
Yeah, go right up to the end there before it's steep, past Baxter, up there before it goes into the
Cerro Gordo.
Yeah, Cerro Gordo up there, and then the engineer would go to the front of the car and then head back down the hill.
Wow.
We used to ride that down to Sunset Boulevard, and then we take the Sunset car and either go down to LA, or we would take it and go that way.
Would you ever go down to the beach? Santa
Oh
Monica?
yeah, we would transfer over, and then we'd take the one red car, and we'd take it right down through Watts, and all the way down to the beach,
Wow.
down to the Pike. We used to go down to the Pike.
Pike, what's that?
Long Beach Pike, that was a amusement park
Oh, okay.
back in I think they got rid of it probably in the 60s. There was a big roller coaster that went over to the water, that's where,
I was asking my friend yesterday who was telling me that his grandparents were living in Chavez Ravine when they were all evicted. And he said that Santa Monica has always had some sort of like roller coaster, right?
yes, they had that, well, there was Pacific Ocean Park, and Santa Monica had the roller coaster. Yeah, it was called, yeah, it's in my mind, I can't remember the name of it, yeah.
You were mentioning as we were going through the kitchen how there used to be what's called like a ice box.
Correct.
Now, did you guys use the ice box before you got a fridge?
Yes, we did. We had the ice box in the corner, and when we were kids, the iceman would bring those big hugs of ice over his shoulder. We had those big hooks that would hook the ice off the truck, and he'd bring it in. And when we go back out there, he would chip pieces away for us and give us all
Wow.
samples.
It's funny.
Yeah.
There's stories of that same exact thing in Boston, where there was a guy who would come around with his thing and give out the ice. It wasn't like flavored ice. It was just ice.
Just plain ice.
Okay.
Yeah, just hunks of ice. Just he would chip off. He had an ice pick. He'd chip them off. Yeah.
One of the other things we were talking about was right here at the school. Before that building on the corner of Valentine and Baxter was a school. It was a water bottling facility.
Yeah, right. Sparkless.
Wow.
Yeah, Sparkless water, and we used to play there, and we used to go in there during the day, and they'd watch the guys fill these bottles of water. There was a great big stainless steel sink, probably, I'm guessing, 10, 12 feet long, and they had these hoses coming out. These guys would fill these bottles of water, put the caps on, and put them in the truck. One instance I want to share with you, if I can, says this is a long time ago. My friend Bobby and I, that used to live across the street, it was on a Saturday, we climbed up the wall, up the fence, going across the roof and down a ladder, and we get in the truck, and we were all probably about 9, 10, and we cranked the motor, and it'd be in gear. We didn't know anything about clutches, except the truck would go, like that, and bottles fell off. And we thought, oh, that was really smart. But then what did we do? We did it one more time. He was waiting for us this time. He saw us. He saw us. We said, he came around with all day, had a pipe in his hand. He was going to beat us. We said, oh boy, we got up the ladder, across the roof, down the ladder, got our bicycles, and we left. And well, there's a lot.
Got away?
Right away.
Got away?
Well, no, we didn't get away, actually. We came home here, and went in the back there and hid in that back office. And my dad was in here, and all of a sudden, we heard this knock on the door. And all of a sudden, I hear my dad says, Jerry. And I came out, and here was this LAPD cop standing there with the owner of that Sparkless company. And he says, that's the kid right there. And we got in trouble for that, but this is just don't come back, don't do that again anymore. So we didn't do that anymore, but I finally found out who a kid down the street tattled on us.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, well, needless to say, we made his life miserable for a while. That was the story about Sparkless water. I don't know if you want to hear all that or not.
I love all that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. This is a gold. So
Yeah.
that's such a funny story because water in LA is such a big deal,
Yeah.
We got that movie Chinatown, and we're having all this drought, and but I think of this neighborhood as sort of like this little paradise that if you think when LA stopped at sunset, the Civil War general who had his pick of where he would put his house in this area, put the first house when this was just empty, I don't know about empty, but when this was unincorporated, right down there where Loopy lives. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that water must be straight from the ground. This soil, you can grow anything here. And can you imagine coming from a place, where it's cold and snowy and rainy in the winter, and then come out here and it's just like land of milk and honey.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically like right here, where you have that beautiful little area that they've turned into a school, because it's like all the hills like naturally bring everybody
come together right there
to this nice little flat play area. I was talking to Dave about it, who you met, and were there fences around that school when you were?
Yes, there was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You had to climb those fences, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But being a young boy, we climbed on any kind of fence.
I mean, you would go in and play in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would play in the schoolyards when I was a kid. It seems a shame that they would fence that off.
Yeah.
It's such a awesome resource for all the kids in the neighborhood.
It wasn't that tall of a fence back then.
But you weren't supposed to be in there?
Nobody ever said anything. Usually the gate was open during the weekdays. We played down there, and then, or on the weekends, and then after school it was open. But during school they would shut the gate.
Huh.
They would
Oh,
shut
yeah.
the gate, keep the kids out, keep strangers from going in there.
Right.
And we used to play in there all the time, play basketball and whatever.
And can you just tell a little bit about how you took advantage of the hills and like made boxcars and stuff?
Oh yeah. We like I was saying earlier, back in those days, not everybody had a car, so there was no cars on the streets. I mean, very rarely did you see a car on the street, especially on Ewing Street.
Yeah.
So we built these little carts. They'd take a 2x4 this way and put a 2x4 this way, drill it, put a bolt in it and a nut washer, and nail wheels on the outside of these, front and back. And we had a little, like a box, we'd make it out of an apple crate box, and we'd set that for a seat. And we'd sit on there, we'd have a rope at our feet, and we'd steer this thing, and we'd get on top of the hill, and we'd race down the hill, and we'd go up. That's before they put, there was no fences here either. We'd go up across, sometimes across the grass, and then back down the sidewalk, and then across the street, and then back and forth like this.
I would imagine if you went, it's so steep that if you just went straight, you'd be going too fast.
You go too fast, yeah, especially with these homemade things. But we had like nails. We nailed these wheels up. Sometimes the wheels would fall off, and we'd do some of this, But that's what we did. We didn't have to worry about cars because there was no cars on the street, no fences. There was a couple people had where the grass came down and then the driveway would be here. We'd jump off and crash onto that. But
I wanted to ask if it's not, it wasn't as hot back then because we're here having some record heat these days, but would you guys take advantage of these windows and lower the top windows so that the hot air could get out?
I don't recall that.
Okay.
I just remember the windows being open a lot because we
Yeah.
didn't have air conditioner
Right.
or swamp coolers or anything like that.
You brought some photos.
I did.
I would love to check out those photos, but maybe you could tell me a little bit about some of the neighbors you had and trouble you got into. And
Oh, yeah. Well, one recall you're talking about. Well, like I said, we had a leisure park to play in. Well, when I was a little guy, when we were all little, I'm thinking 6, 7.
so 1947.
Yeah, around there. Well, we made these out of clothespin. We made called match guns. You'd flip the top around and it had a spring back, and you'd put those wooden matches and you hit it, and it would shoot the match out.
Oh my God.
Well, we were on top of Legion Park Drive right up here, and I shot this little match off, shooting it in the air, not thinking where it was going. It landed in a pine tree,
Oh yeah.
and there was all these dead pines needles up there, and that thing just took off. Well, we shot down the hill and hit down the hill down here. All of a sudden, you hear these fire trucks, and all of a sudden you see this fire that's going. It burned probably 100 feet or more of those trees up there. And I remember we went back up to see what was going on. We're peeking over the edge of there, and there's a lady says, "Yeah, I saw that kid. I saw the kid that he was a little red-haired, freckle-faced kid." And I thought, "Oh, he's talking about me." We shot back down the hill. They never caught us.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's funny to hear you talk about this stuff because, like, as a kid, you were doing this like amateur, like building of things,
Yes.
like vehicles and those, like you said, the match gun.
Yeah.
The guy you met, David.
Right.
What he does for work is he is raising money to get 3D printing into schools so that kids can do kind of what you did but with advanced machinery and technology.
Right. Okay.
And it's just wild that like you would have so much technology power at your hands, but then you have to sort of like try and encourage the kids to get into it, where when you were a kid you were building stuff like vehicles and little guns. And what are some of the other things that you would do? Just, make stuff and...
Yeah, because we didn't have the toys. I mean, we didn't have, you couldn't go on, didn't have the technology like you talk about in the toys. And Well, we used to play in the police academy, and that's before they put a fence over there. And on Saturday morning, we would go to the police range, outdoor police range, and we gather all up with the lead,
Spent bullets.
and use it for our slingshots. Yeah, then we have target practice and set up target practice, shoot cans and things like that with these lead slugs, and
That's so funny. I think a lot about that because
you could never get in there now.
I never knew what my last name came from, and it's Bowers. And I found out later in life that it has to do with making bows.
Oh, interesting.
Like bow and arrow.
Right.
Which, if you think about it, it's like a early, aside from the wheel, one of the early inventions that was like, helping people survive to hunt and whatnot, Any other kind of like just stuff you ended up getting into that was like around that sort of like, making stuff?
Oh, yeah, we used to make, before they built these homes up here on the very top, when you walk around Alicia Park Drive and you walk where it circles around, there's one street, I can't remember the name of the street, where it drops down.
Right there, yeah.
And, well, we used to get these sheets of tin or cardboard, and we wax the bottom, and this is during the summer, and we'd slide down that hill all the way to the bottom.
That's what I was thinking about. We used to, when there were hills like this in Boston, we would sled down them.
Yeah, that's what we built those things.
Wow,
Yeah,
so like a sled, and you would use wax.
Yeah, to make it go faster.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of the guys that was here yesterday was talking about skateboarding and how he's there's so many like cool things that people do with skateboards. He's used his old skateboards to make stuff, and anyway, I hope we get another chance to hang out with David because he was really interested in hearing more.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about going into Chavez Ravine? You said that thing about.
All right.
What was that? Oh yeah, you would roll tires.
Yeah. Well, when they evicted these poor people.
So this is 19. You're born in 40. Evictions happen in like 49.
About 49 to 52 around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They started moving these people out of there, and there was a lot of vacant houses.
Yep.
And some of them were shacks. Some of them were really beat up, and there was nobody living in them anymore. Yeah. And then like on the top of the hill.
Wonderland for a kid.
Oh, it was. Oh, we got to tour all that place and go through all these places and finding stuff that we thought, oh, look at that, that's neat.
Yeah, we used to go into burnt down buildings in Boston, and it's like, for a kid, it's like an imagination,
Oh, yeah. To be able to go in somebody's house that nobody's living there anymore, just to be able to walk in, and that was an adventure by itself. And, well, we used to sit on the very top up there because they used it for a dump sometimes. You'd find anything up there. We used to take these old worn out tires, spare tires. We roll them down the hill and watch these things crash into these old shacks. And
oh my God, it's like bowling.
Yeah, it was like bowling, yeah. But yeah,
there must have been ghosts up there.
It was. There's a few holdouts. A couple of people.
Well,
they finally carried them out. This poor lady. It was on TV. They carried this poor lady out of there.
So that family.
Yeah.
They're called the Arechigas. They were the face of the resistance.
Yeah.
They actually owned Loopy's house.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were. It was on the cover of the, I've read books about it, and it was on the cover of the LA Times for years, right?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, it was to build affordable housing. There was like 3,350 affordable units that were supposed to be. And I keep saying this, but unlike the housing projects where I grew up, built like California style bungalows where people could have actual, like courtyards and, gardens and stuff. Humble, modest, but but dignified.
Yeah, they were supposed to build schools, a hospital.
And there was schools.
Yeah.
In Chavez Ravine.
You never had them.
Did you ever go into that school?
We did.
I loved going into breaking into schools.
Yeah.
So you went to school after it was.
Oh yeah, after.
Oh my God, that's so crazy. To go into a abandoned school.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, found an old basketball, deflated basketball.
That's amazing.
Never knew what you were going to find up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just filled in that school and
buried it all. Yeah.
What was it like having the red car?
It was great. because we'd pick it up. You can pick it up right here. You go pick it. It stopped like every other block, every third block. You hop on, and it would take you all the way down to Sunset Boulevard, and then the guy would get back on. The engineer would go to the front of the other side of the car, and he'd go back up all the way up to Echo Park Avenue, and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And we used to sit there and put pennies on the track, and
Oh wow.
let them flatten them, and get pennies, and
Was there electrical lines above?
yes, there was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate
We
to-
have a lot of trolleys in Boston, and
Mhm.
it's an interesting thing. It's just so crazy that like the Brooklyn Dodgers, who were named after dodging streetcars, moved out to L.A.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, when was it exciting to have the Dodgers come to LA?
I was gone by then.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gone. I was gone by 1955. We moved out,
Okay.
and it was the Dodgers came around '59.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are some of your buddies around here?
Oh well, there was Bobby Colbert across the street, and there was Johnny Drake that lived up here.
So maybe we talked yesterday about tracking some of these guys down.
That would be fun if they're still kicking. You know,
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're still around.
Yeah.
There was Gerald Payne and his sister Darlene Payne. There was Lois Isaacson directly across the street. And I think that was about it.
And they must have. I mean, it's possible that if they're still kicking, they have some photos and who knows, maybe even some home video and stuff.
That would be fun.
To me, seeing home video of this area and pictures, for some reason, it's just so fascinating. It's like another world, another
Mhm.
time, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see, what sports did you play?
Well, I ran track.
Really?
Yeah, I ran track in Thomas Starr King when I went there. And when I went to Thomas Starr King,
Did you go to Elysian Heights?
I did. And then my dad and mom put me over at Lady of Loretta at the Catholic school. I went there for.
Was that because you were causing trouble?
I was kind of I was a free spirit. Let's put it that way. And they said, let's put Jerry in a Catholic school and see if the nuns can straighten him out. Well, I went there for a while, and then my dad, he decided, we're going to put you in military school. So I went to military school over Harvard Military School out in Coldwater Canyon there for a couple of years.
God, that's a long commute, isn't it?
It was, yeah. Well, my dad would take me out there Friday night and pick me up.
Oh.
No, he would take me out there on Sunday night and pick me up on Friday night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been tough to have to leave your.
It was. I didn't like that at all, and then, of course I didn't last long. And then they brought me back and put me in Elysian High or Thomas Starr King Junior High. Yeah.
So Loopy tells me about when she went to Elysian Heights. There were a lot of artists and interesting folks, hippies. She's a little younger than you.
Really? Oh yeah.
But they had great arts programming, and they even had animals and some farming. Did they have that
Interesting.
when you were there?
No, they didn't know.
What was Elysian Heights like?
It was just a grammar school. And,
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like any grammar school. There's nothing exciting about it. I don't even remember the teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about King?
Oh, Thomas Starr King was great. It was a junior high.
Yeah.
It was over there off of Sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, down that way.
It's still going, and
It's still there, huh?
They've recently had this sort of I guess stuff going on that parents seem to love it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had a track program at that age.
Yeah, huh?
Were you doing short distance or medium or long?
I did the 50-yard dash and 100-yard dash. I was really good in military school. I won the
Sprinting.
Yeah, I won the hurdles for the 7th grade hurdles and
Man, we didn't even have
sprints.
that stuff.
No, that's sad. Yeah.
That's amazing. You were doing hurling and
Uh-huh.
that young.
Yeah.
That's hard to get up over those hurdles and
I
keep
don't know.
running.
I was a jumper.
Well, I mean, when you grow up in an area like this,
Yeah.
you're in your body so much more.
Oh yeah,
you know?
we didn't lay around. We were playing all
Right.
the time.
We
and-
weren't on video games and stuff like that.
yeah, we had a lot of exercise.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we just.
So 50, 100, and hurdles.
Yes, huh?
Cool. Did you
Right.
carry on with that till high school?
No, I didn't. No.
And so did you get back into more trouble than high school?
No, in high school a little bit, yeah, a little bit. But I played a little football and a little basketball in high school.
Little or
Very little, not very
Okay.
much. Yeah,
kind of let it go?
yeah, kind of let it go. I got into cars and motorcycles and
Really?
yeah, forgot all the sports.
Yeah, that's the guy that I interviewed yesterday who I was telling you his grandparents lived in Chavez Ravine. Right across from where the police academy was, where there's now a helicopter pad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had been all involved in sports, and then he got into like these social club, car culture, and
Mm-hmm.
what kind of cars and what kind of was there a lot of like knowing how to work on cars and like making your own car?
When I was living here.
When you got into high school?
Oh yeah. My first car was a '47 Chevy, and then from there it was a '57 Chevy, and then I had a '59 Thunderbird.
Wow.
But we had hot rods and things like that back in those days, and motorcycles, a lot of motorcycles.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was more into motorcycles than anything,
Yeah, me
which I
too.
still am.
So well, we got to get you a picture of you with one of my motorcycle jackets on, because I have like a
Well,
collection of like 50
Yeah.
motorcycle jackets.
really?
Yeah, because they really work for a wheelchair.
Okay,
It's the
great.
shape of them and the
Oh
padding
yeah,
even.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
So those cars sound pretty serious. Was there vocational education in high school, like how to work on cars?
Yeah, we had auto shops back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, auto shops. You work in there. And
Yeah.
we had wood shops, metal shops, print shops. That's where I did got my good grades, was all the shops,
I mean, they're finally realizing that
Yeah,
they really need to have that.
they do.
You know,
They need home economics.
they need civics.
Yes,
You know.
yeah, they do.
Did they have any motorcycles stuff that you could learn about in high school, or just cars?
I used to bring my motorcycle into auto shop and work
So you
on
could
it.
bring your motorcycle into school and
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, work on it in the shops. Change the oil, change the plugs.
What kind of like how could you how were the cars then different, and how could you work on them, and what could you make them the way you wanted?
Well,
Like
you were
faster, and were you racing ever or any of that kind of stuff?
just drag racing.
You did drag racing.
Yeah, we had a San Gabriel drags over there.
Wow.
Off of the 605 freeway, we used to race them. But back in those days, you lift the hood, you could see, you understood what was there.
Yeah.
I mean, now you open the hood, I don't even know what's there. It's all,
Right. Yeah.
it's all plastic. And
Yeah.
but we could change the carburetors, add a manifold, put two carburetors on there, or we could put two 4-barrel carburetors. We could beef them up,
Cool.
make them faster. Yeah.
Did you? Well, I want to quickly just go back to like when you did track. You said you were good,
Yes,
and did you win any like competitions?
I did in military school. I won the 7th grade competition.
50,
the
100?
Yeah, the hurdles and the 50-yard dash and the 100-yard dash.
Did they time you back then?
There was no times on the record. It was just whoever was out first. Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, there's so many things that we can get into, and maybe what we should do next is take a look at some of the pictures you brought.
Sure.
Cool.
Heck, absolutely.
All right. Well, I want to say Sports Washing LA with Jerry Robinson. Please come check out some of our other videos. Like and subscribe. Today's episode was sponsored by Ladybird Cafe right here on Echo Park in Baxter. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's where that service station used to be. Now there's a
I saw it down there. Yeah, it's a coffee place, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it.
Well, thanks for coming.
You betcha. Thanks for having me.
You betcha.
Enjoyed it.